2 Corinthians and 1 Corinthians. And I want to tell you, about a few things. When we say casting your care upon him, the word care, we use that word still today. Something that we care about a bunch, right? Something that, but a lot of times what this refers to is something more like that we worry about. And why would we worry about something? Because we care about it a bunch, right? So this is like casting all your worries, casting all the things that you care a bunch about, that you're worried about, cast those things on him, on Jesus. Because he cares, he doesn't worry about us, but he's concerned about us. He cares for you. And so that's been our verse. And today we have, I want to tell you another verse from Corinthians. And it says, thanks be unto God for his unspeakable gift. Okay, so listen to that. Listen to that. There's some words in there that we should know what they mean, and maybe some that we need help understanding. Listen. Thanks be unto God for his unspeakable gift. Let's take the easiest one first. What is a gift? Like a present. Normally, a gift or a present comes from one person to another person, right? So in that verse, thanks be unto God for his unspeakable gift. The gift in that verse is coming from who? Listen to the verse. Thanks be unto God for his unspeakable gift. Alright, so let's just practice here. If I have something and I give it to Curtis. Who?
Bertis.
Boris?
Bertis. B-E-R-T-I-S.
Oh, Bertis. Not Curtis. Well, no wonder. Bertis. Let's just imagine. We shouldn't imagine with Bertis, though. He
No, it's only when you pretend to take away something.
Right. So let's just imagine, let's imagine with Wyland. Let's imagine I'm going to give Wyland a gift. What should Wyland say? Ooh. If I give you something, what should you say? Thank you.
Job.
So you would give thanks to me because I gave you a gift, right? So our verse says, thanks be unto God for his unspeakable gift. So that means that God gave a gift, right? Right? God gave a gift, and we should give thanks to him. Right? God gave a gift, so we should give thanks to him. Right? Who knows? Who thinks they know? Everybody think in your head, what was the gift that God gave? Think in your head. What was the gift? What's the gift that God gave? Everybody got an answer in your head? What's the gift that God gave? Keep it in your head. Okay, show me with your hand if you have an answer in your head. Okay? So I'm going to call on a bunch of people's names. If you hear somebody else say what your answer in your head is, just say it again. Okay? Let's start with Caleb. Life. God gives life. You raise your hand, but then you put it down. Do you have an answer in your head?
Yeah.
What? What does God give? Jesus. Okay. Wyland, do you have an answer in your head? No? Okay. Ivanhoe? What's that? A baby? A special baby? Jesus. Baby Jesus? Rachel, do you have an answer in your head? No? Nathaniel? Jesus dying on the cross. All of those are true. All of those are true. But in this verse that's in Corinthians, thanks be unto God for his unspeakable gift. It doesn't make sense to anybody for someone to give their only begotten son to die on a cross. Right? So when God did that, that is his unspeakable gift. Now I'm going to tell you another verse. Another verse in the Bible says, we love him because he first, you know what the next word is? We love him because he first loved us. That's right. So do you love Jesus? Do you love God? And why do we love God? Because He first loved us. Right? So there's something, what we want to learn today is that it's more than just love. God loved us, so we love Him. But God gave to us, right? Remember He gave? Thanks be unto God for His unspeakable gift. God gave to us, so we should give back to Him. The book of Corinthians tells, Paul taught the Corinthian Christians there in his letter to them that they should give. And he described a few different ways that they should give. Have you ever given somebody something? Oh, let's think about this. Wyland, did you ever have something, maybe a portion of food, and your mom or your dad said, hey, why don't you take some of that and give it to your brother or your sister? No? Well, imagine that. You have 3 candy bars. Okay, we're just imagining. Can you imagine? Well, okay, let's not tell other people what we are. Right? Aren't we all that way? Well, okay, so I have something, and somebody who has authority over me says, why don't you give some of that to somebody else? And I'm in my heart like, but I really wanted it. I really like that. I don't know if I want it. I guess I will give it to them, but I wish I didn't have to give it to them, right? I'll do it because you're telling me to do it, but I'm not very willing. Okay? Or there's just a lot of examples about ways that we could give somebody something to someone, and the Bible tells us how we should give to God. Now, can any of us, can we take some money and somehow float up in the sky and put money in heaven? We can't do that, can we? So how do we give things to God? We want to give to Him, right? He gave His Son, so we should want to give back to Him. What are some ways that we can give to God? Prayers. We can offer prayers to Him. We can offer praise to Him. We can tell God how great He is. That's worship. Okay? So we could give glory to Him. We could tell other people how good God is. We're really good at telling other people how good we are, or how good this basketball player was, or something like that. But we could give praise to God by telling other people how good He is. Now, none of you, well, I don't know, do any of you guys have a job? No, you don't have a job. You clean somebody's house, do they pay you for that? Yeah, so that's, yeah. Okay. She gets paid. Even if it was 20 cents, she gets paid. You're going to make a band. And then make some money. Right, right. So we all want to use our abilities. We want to use our abilities, whether it's ability to clean, or ability to play music, or ability to work hard, maybe pull weeds or mow grass, or ability to, we have the big steel mills here, ability to work with iron and all that. Whatever it is, we have ability, and we like to use that to make money, right? So, if we make money, who gave us the ability to make that money? Who gave us the ability to mow the grass, to clean the car, to play the music, to clean the house? How did we know how to do that? Because God. God gave us the brain, God gave us our arms, God gave us our lungs to be able to breathe the air, God gave us the air to breathe, God gave us our whole body, our heart that pumps our blood. God gave us all that ability, and so anything that we can earn with our brains and with our muscles and with our ability, God gave us that. God gives that to us, even though we have to do the work. So, what is something? So, we could give God praise, how would we give God money? If God makes it so that we can get money, how can we give him money back? Any children know? What's that? Prayers? But prayers aren't money. Oh, like you pay money with your prayers? Well, then where does the money go? The money goes in your head? No, it doesn't work that way. Okay. How can you give money to God? Put it in the offering at church. Because the church is doing things for God, right? So you could put money in the offering at church. That would be a way to give money to God. It's not going, I mean, God's, should we say God, is God at church? He's at most churches, isn't he? He's anywhere you go, he's there, right? Everywhere you go, he's there, and he will see what you do. He would see when you go to Sunday school if you put money in the offering, wouldn't he? And he would know whether you were giving that money to him or whether you were giving that money so that your friend could see you give money. Right? So anyway, we need to get into the lesson. But as servants of God, we've learned, 3 weeks ago we learned how that God takes care of his servants. He wants them to work for him, but he takes care of them. Sometimes he protects them, sometimes he provides for them. Well, always he provides for them, and always he protects them, but sometimes he protects them from great trouble. Sometimes he delivers them from hard circumstances, but God always provides for them. We learned 2 weeks ago how God takes care of those, his servants, when they die. We learned how that inside of us is us. Inside of our body house is us. And when our body house dies, we will go somewhere, and we'll stand before Jesus. We'll stand before Jesus, and we will have to give a report of how we lived for him on this earth. And then last week, we learned about what we should say. Remember, we learned how that God could tell us to tell other people things. If we're his servant, a servant could say, hey, go tell so-and-so that I'm coming. Or go tell so-and-so to do this. And so God tells us in the Bible that we're to go tell everybody that Jesus came and died for them. And that's the message that we're supposed to give. And then this week we're going to talk about how God's servants give. Now, the first thing I want to say, I've already said. And that is why we give. Why should Christians, why should people who believe on Jesus give back to God? Why? Remember the verse we said? Thanks be unto God for his unspeakable gift. God gave his Son. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and everybody, whosoever believes on him, will not perish but have everlasting life. So God gave his Son. God gives us eternal life. God gives us the way that we can pray to him. God gives us the way that we can have peace, that we will go and be with him when we die. So God has given us all these things, so we should give back to him. We should give back to him. We could give him our time, right? We might be at home playing on a game on a device, and this could happen today. We could be playing a game, and it could come to our mind that there's church tomorrow. Yeah, there is. Tomorrow's Sunday, so there's church. And so we could say, oh, I really want to keep playing this game. I got all night long, let me just play this game. But we should remember that we would not be able to pay very good attention. We might not even be able to wake up in the morning if we stayed up all night. And so we would say, I'm going to give God tomorrow, and so I'm not going to spend this all night long on me. So that would be time. If we make money, when Kaylee makes money from cleaning the house, she gets that money. She gets it from the people that she cleans for, but God gave her the ability. So, some of that money, so where did that money come from? Ultimately, came from God, came from the ability that God gave her to clean. God made the whole world. So, then, some of that money, we should want to give back to God. I work, and the place that I work gives me money. So after I get that money, I think, how much of this money can I give back to God? And so, money, time, strength, effort, all of that, we should give back to God because He gave us His Son. I'm going to tell you about 3 things in the Bible, but after Kaylee's question.
How much do you get paid?
How much do I get paid? That's kind of personal. But I get paid well. But not, you probably don't even have any idea how much a lot of money is. So, I'm not going to tell you. What's that? Yeah, I get paid like most adults get paid. Well, like I think most adults get paid. I get paid for the year. I don't get paid by the hour. So, I get paid once a month for the work that I do all the time, all week, all year. Anyway, I get that money, it goes in my bank account, and I think, okay, I'm going to give some of that to the church. I'm going to give it to God by giving it to the church. So, in the Old Testament, God wanted His people to build a tabernacle, and in the tabernacle it would have really, we would have wood, furniture covered with gold. It would have fancy curtains made out of particular type of thread and material, and they were in the wilderness. You couldn't just go to the store and find this stuff. And so God said, let all the people know that if they want to, they could bring an offering. So He only wanted those who were willing to bring an offering. So, Wyland, will you come up here, please? Will you come up here? We're going to act something out here, if I can. So, let's just imagine that Wyland has $10, okay? Imagine Wyland has $10, and I'm going to say, Wyland, you're going to give that $10 to your sister. Is he very willing? Well, only because he's threatened, right? Okay, you can be seated. God doesn't want us to give because we feel threatened. He wants us to give because we're willing. And He told these people, if you have gold or if you have blue material or red material, or if you have badger skins, or you have precious stones like diamonds and rubies, you could, if you want to, you can bring those to Moses, and we will gather all those things, and we will build a tabernacle for God's presence to be in. And you know what the people did? They started bringing the stuff. Why did they bring the stuff? They were willing. They wanted to. And they brought stuff, and they brought more stuff, and they brought more stuff, and they brought more stuff. Finally, all the people that were collecting this stuff said to Moses, and Moses, please tell the people, we have everything that we need and more. There's more than enough. There's too much. So Moses had to tell the people of God, you can stop bringing things now. We have everything that we need. Why did they have everything they need? Because the people were willing. And God wants us also to be willing. He wants us to be willing. And we should be willing when we think about the unspeakable gift that God gave us. Now, there's another thing that happened that tells us a little bit about how to give. Once Jesus was in a Pharisee's house eating dinner. He was in a Pharisee's house eating dinner, and a woman came with a very precious, we'll call it a bottle. It wasn't a bottle that would cut somebody when it was broken open, but a very precious container that had the most very, very, very valuable ointment, perfume, smelled very good, very, very valuable, very expensive. So this woman had this very expensive thing, and she came and she poured it out on Jesus. Now, we don't do those kinds of things in our culture today, but what was she doing? She took something that was very expensive and she gave it to Jesus. That was, she sacrificed even. I mean, that was something that was probably like an insurance policy. It was something very important, very valuable, and once she poured it out, could she get it back? No. She sacrificed all that for God. And Jesus, there's a whole story about this. I'm going to tell the whole story, but Jesus, the Pharisee was like, Jesus should know who this woman is, and he was disapproving of this woman. But Jesus explained to the Pharisee that the woman gave that, she sacrificed that very precious and expensive thing on Jesus because she loved him. So we love, and why do we love God? We love him because he first loved us. And we should give to him because he gave his son to us. We should give willingly, like the people who kept giving, and there was so much, there was too much. We should give we shouldn't be afraid to give something that's very valuable to God. And we shouldn't just go and like give everything to him without him leading us or directing us that way. But she loved him a lot, and so she gave him a lot. And then the last thing that we should learn about giving is that we should give cheerfully. We should give cheerfully. Now, I don't think many of us are farmers. Are there any farmers here? Anybody live on a farm? Anybody have a garden? Okay, so we have a garden. Some of you have a garden. Let's say we have a garden. What? Maybe not right now. What do you plant in your garden?
Actually, yeah.
What are some things in your garden? Watermelon. Okay, watermelon. Let's just take watermelon. If I take one watermelon seed and I put it in the ground, will I get a watermelon plant? Maybe, right? Maybe. And I get one plant, and will I get some watermelon from that plant? Probably. But if I'm stingy and I only put one seed in the ground, will I be very happy with what comes back? No. But if I plant a whole bunch, if I put a bunch of seeds down there, what's going to happen? I'm going to get a bunch of plants, and I'm going to get a bunch of watermelon, and I'm going to be happy because I got lots of watermelon. I planted a bunch, I reaped a bunch, and I'm happy. So, the person that's planting, the person that's giving, when they give, it might come to our mind like, what am I going to do? But what we should remember is that when we give, God gives back. Now, we give to God because he first gave to us, but when we give back to God, he gives back to us. And he gives back more than we give. He always gives more than we give. I don't know how he does that. Well, actually, I know how he does it is because he has everything. He has more than us, and he loves us. So, when we give, sometimes we might be thinking, what am I going to do? I need to give this to the church, let's say, but I have to pay my house payment, or I have to pay the rent. But I know I should give this to God, and I could worry, right? But what should we do when we worry? We should get rid of our worry. We should cast our care upon him. He cares for us, and he gives back to us when we give. So Christians should give. Why should we give? We should give back to Him because He first gave to us. We love Him because He first loved us. We give to Him because of His unspeakable gift. And when we give, we should give willingly. We should give sacrificially and cheerfully. And the Bible has even more to say about giving. But I'm not going to teach it all today. Maybe some other day down the road. But we should give on the first day of the week. We should give because from the things that we earn, God gives us ability. We should give from that ability that we earn. Lots of things that the Bible tells us about giving. And if we are His servants, we should do what He says. Right?